Today we're going to make some artwork based off of an artist who is a street artist. His name is Chris Uphues, and he's from Chicago, Illinois. That is in America. And although he's from Chicago, he has street art all over the place. And street art is artwork that is found when you're out in the street. So that means usually it's on the side of walls or buildings. A lot of times street art is found in big cities too, okay? So let's take a look at some of his artwork and talk about it, and maybe we can make some inspired by his style. Okay, for this piece of art, we're going to be looking at the element of art space. Mainly how to use the space on your paper and to overlap to create more space on your paper, okay? And the design principle we're going to use is unity. And that means that when we create a piece of artwork, we want it to look like it belongs together. We want it to have the same sort of theme and look like it's a complete piece that just looks like it belongs together. Okay, so we're going to focus on space and unity, and we're going to take a look at Chris Uphues' artwork. So this is a picture of one of his murals that he has made, and this is on the side of a building. If you look up close, I'm not sure that you can see it on your screen, but you can actually see the bricks on the side of the building here. So he actually is painted on the outside, and it's a very large mural. It's on the side of a whole building. It's hard for us to see that in this picture, but you just have to take my word for it. It's a really big mural. So we can see that what he likes to paint, right? He likes to paint hearts, and hearts with happy, silly cartoon faces, right? That's his theme. And all of his murals have this same theme. He uses hearts with cartoon faces. And when he paints, he wants us to feel happy. So when I say us, I mean the viewer. So anybody who walks by this building and sees this, he wants them to feel happy. So it's kind of a nice message to send for artwork sometimes, isn't it? Okay, so we're gonna take his style and we're gonna create some of our own work, not on the side of a building, but just on a piece of paper. So you'll need a piece of paper to get started. And if you are feeling like hearts are maybe just too challenging of a shape for you, you might want to start this project off with just circles or squares. If you're feeling like you need to practice a little bit with hearts first, that might be a good idea in like a sketch or scrap paper that you can just practice drawing some hearts. Another good idea is if you have a whiteboard at home, you could practice drawing some hearts that way. Now, some of us, there's lots of ways we draw hearts, right? Some of us like to do a half of a heart on the side and then do the other half, right? That is maybe a more advanced way to make a heart. If you're just starting off learning how to make hearts, I would maybe make like the letter M. And then in the center, however long you want your heart, you can make a point and then draw a straight line down to that point on both sides. Okay. If you're having trouble, let's say you keep making hearts and they turn out just a shape you don't like. Let's just pretend that you are having trouble making big hearts. So if you can make a small heart, a way to practice making a big heart is just to keep drawing another heart around it until you can learn how to make a nice big heart. Okay, so Chris Uphues uses some overlapping in his artwork. So we also maybe want to practice the idea of making a heart and then making one in front of it or behind it. Now that's very easy for me to do on my whiteboard, but it's a little bit more tricky to do when you're on paper. So you could practice that a little bit first. Practice overlapping. putting one heart in front of the other. And then if you want, you can even practice before you get started making some funny faces or cartoon faces on your hearts. Now in the Google Classroom lesson, I posted a sheet that has a bunch of different eyes and nose and mouth ideas. You could use any of those, or you could also come up with your own. That's fine too. So I would do a little practicing first. And then when you feel like you're confident with cartoon faces and confident with drawing some overlapping hearts, then I would maybe go to your paper. Okay, so I'm gonna draw some here. And then I wanna say that this is a 12 by 9 piece of paper, 12 inches by 9 inches. But if you have a smaller piece of paper, that's fine too. That would work just fine. I'm gonna start with some big hearts first. And those are gonna be my hearts that are in front. Now, I am not a perfectionist when I draw hearts. I kind of like my hearts to look different, and some of the hearts will be skinny, some of the hearts will be a little lumpier, and some of them will be longer. That's fine. So I've got a couple here, a couple large hearts, and then you notice I made this one kind of look like it's going off my page, right? You don't really see the full heart, and that's okay. I might even do the same thing up here where I see just like the bottom of a heart. All right, so this is using my space, right? Because I'm trying to use my whole piece of paper and even make it look like my design goes off the paper. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple hearts that look like they're overlapping. So I'm going to, when I hit a heart, boop, stop. And lift my marker. When I hit a heart, stop. And draw my heart. Now, if you have a pencil, this is a lot easier to do because you can just draw the heart and then erase. I'm doing it with a marker so you can see it a little easier. But if you want to do it with a pencil, that's fine. Got some little hearts too. Here. Now I think about 10 to 15 hearts is pretty good on this size piece of paper. But you choose, fill your paper, see what feels right. And then after that, you can start adding details, so your cartoon faces, right? You can also choose to maybe make some of your heart outlines a little thicker. That would be cool. That adds some nice variety, some thick and thin lines. Okay, I'm gonna do just a couple of faces here. And maybe start to think about also how I'm gonna finish my piece. Am I going to color it with marker? Am I going to use crayon? Am I gonna use a mix? It is up to you. You can use whatever you have at home or whatever you like to color with. This guy's kind of sticking his tongue out, huh? Okay, so I would go ahead and fill all of my heart areas with some faces. And I've got one like that actually already finished. So see, I've used my whole space. I went from hearts to cartoon hearts, right? So you can leave it like this. Also, if you're trying to sort of emulate the Chris Uphues style of connecting them with the lines, that might be a nice look too. I have one here that I did like that. So I did the hearts, and then I connected the hearts with like those rainbow lines, kind of like he did in the mural that we looked at earlier, okay? This one is thicker because I painted the outline first. And so I just want to show you a couple of techniques, give you a couple ideas as to how to finish your piece, okay? So some people don't have paint at home, and some people also don't have new markers at home. So let me show you a little technique that you can do if you've got markers at home. They don't have to be brand new. They can be a little old. The only thing is they have to be washable. You can't do this trick with Sharpie because it's a permanent marker. So it needs to be a washable marker. So what you can do is you actually can kind of turn your marker into a little bit like paint. So if you take that outside, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to do the edge here. Let's see, maybe add a little purple. See how I'm not coloring it all the way in? Because then what I'm gonna do, oh wait, a little bit more here. Then what I'm gonna do is take just water and a paintbrush, and then I'm going to wet the outside area. And the magic happens. So see how it starts to make that color sort of spread out just like paint. This is a really good technique if you have some old markers in your house that are just starting to get not juicy and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do with these markers? This is a fun technique you could do with those markers, right? So it works with all different colors, and you just need water, markers, and a paintbrush. Now, that's one idea. You can also paint it. You could color it. Something really fun that I think I'm gonna do for mine that I have here is I think I'm going to do a mix of oil pastels, and then I'm going to paint on top of it. Now, oil pastels are a lot like crayons. We use them a lot in art class. So instead of made of wax, they're made of oil. So you can actually draw under or on top of paint, and they're really nice and bright. I thought these would be some nice bright colors for these really happy hearts. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna finish my 2 heart designs here based off of Chris Uphues, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I hope you have fun with this. This makes me happy just to create it, so I hope you have fun creating it too, and it makes you happy. I can't wait to see you guys. I hope you're all well. Happy creating. Bye.